button on. There it is. Thank you. And then Commissioner Callaway is also going to take notes. So I'm going to read from a hybrid script because of the Zoom meeting. And we will call this meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission to order at 4:04 p.m.
Excuse me, Dr. Joyner. I know we're having technical difficulties connecting to Facebook Live. Are we going to start on? Or do we plan to still start on, or are we going to try to wait to go live?
Yeah, we should. Unless, well, it's been acting up on and off all day.
Yeah, we tried 6 ways from Sunday, so go ahead with the meeting.
Okay.
We're recording it. We'll post it afterwards.
Sure, that's fine. That's fine. That's what we do at LSUS because of such things. Bandwidth going up and down lately has been horrible. All right. I'm going to read from a script. Just because I'm not looking at you doesn't mean that I know that you're there. I've got dual screens, and so I'm going from one to the other. Good afternoon, commissioners, staff, and members of the public. The Shreveport Historic Preservation Commission does hereby certify that it is unable to hold a meeting under regular quorum requirements due to COVID-19. On authority of the governor under Section 2 of Proclamation number JBE 2020-59, which in part authorizes a local political subdivision to hold public meetings via teleconference or video conference during this state of emergency. Therefore, this meeting is being held in a video conference format. If you are an applicant for a certificate of appropriateness and/or a certificate of demolition, or a member of the public and you wish to make comments on an application, you will have an opportunity to do so after the MPC staff has made its report as listed on the agenda. The HPC requests that each speaker give their name, address, and relationship to the case prior to speaking. For certificates of appropriateness and/or certificate of demolition agenda items, the HPC chair will call each case on the agenda in order. At the chair's discretion, time limits may be imposed if there are numerous persons requesting to speak. The HPC will hear first from the MPC staff regarding the staff report. Applicants may speak next, followed by those speaking in favor of the application. The HPC will then hear from those wishing to speak against the application. One representative of the application can then speak in rebuttal if desired. After hearing comments on any individual case, the HPC will then immediately deliberate on that individual case. Please note that when the HPC is deliberating, members of the public are not permitted to comment unless the HPC engages a person to do so. The HPC will vote on any recommendations for that case before moving on to the next case on the HPC's agenda. Please note the HPC will not be voting to approve or deny your application today. The HPC will be voting to make recommendations to the executive director of the MPC for his or her consideration in making a decision. If you are the applicant, the MPC staff will contact you regarding the decision on your application pursuant to Shreveport Unified Development Code, Article 21, Section 21.7H. All decisions on applications for certificates of appropriateness and/or certificates of demolition are subject to appeal to the Zoning Board of Appeals. If no appeal is sought, the effective date of any issued certificate will be the 11th day after the date of decision. Any member of the public may request a copy of the MPC Executive Director's decisions on applications for a certificate of appropriateness and/or a certificate of demolition by contacting the MPC office at area code 318-673-6480. All right. First thing we need to do is to have the commissioners examine the minutes from the last meeting that we had and state whether or not there are any changes that need to be made.
Commissioner Jordan, can you do a roll call to make sure you have a quorum?
Yes, we should do that, should we not? Commissioner Joyner is here. Commissioner Callaway.
Here?
All right. Commissioner White.
Here,
Oh boy, I didn't see you, Cheryl.
here I am. I've got the Vatican in the background.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, you do now. As soon as you talked, it came up. All right. Commissioner Wayne. He was there. All right. Commissioner Jernigan.
Here.
Here. And
Here.
Commissioner Wren.
Here.
All right. I have a feeling that Billy will come back on. I think he was just off for a minute. All right. When we vote on things, because of the disjointedness of Zoom, I'm going to ask you when you vote to state your name first and how you vote, yes or no. Any questions? All right.
None.
Okay, please read the minutes, and if you have any changes, please let us know. These are from February 18th, 2020.
Gary, I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, I have a motion
Second.
to approve. And Mr. Wayne,
Second.
seconds.
Dr. White, you'll need to recognize yourself as, hey, Dr. White,
Okay,
he moves forward.
yes.
Yes.
All right, Dr.
Sorry.
White, I move to approve.
All right,
Billy
motion by
Wayne,
Dr. White.
second.
Billy Wayne,
Billy Wayne,
second.
second.
Okay. All in favor, say your name and aye. Joyner, aye.
White, aye.
Wayne,
Conley, aye.
Oh,
Wayne, aye.
And Lane, aye.
And,
I missed-
and Amy, I.
Amy, aye. Got it.
Dr. Conley, I missed your name when I went down the list. I apologize, but I'm glad you're here.
No problem whatsoever, Dr. Joyner.
Okay. Number 2 on the agenda. If somebody does not have the agenda, it's up on the web, and you just go to shreveporthpc.com, and you'll see the agenda. The first case is a certificate of appropriateness, COA 20-3 HPC 4118 Fairfield Avenue. It's a contributing element to the South Highlands Historic District. So could we have the staff's report? And James, could you just go ahead and put the docs up on the screen?
Yes, give me a second to get that. Okay, are you guys able to see it now?
It's coming up.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this, as Dr. Joyner has stated, this is a case in the South Highlands Historic District. The applicant is seeking to expand their garage. Well, technically, they're going to be destroying it and then replacing it with the same sort of garage, but expanding it. This was also, the applicant also had a variance case for this. The problem is the property is located on a hill. And so the applicant, I'm trying to pull up the image. There is an image of where it's located on a hill. Sorry for this. Oh yeah, here we go. Actually, I think it's a better image. Yes, so as you can see from the street, the property is located downward towards the bottom of the property. What the applicant would like to do is renovate the garage to expand slightly, and then also add an extension to the top of the garage, or in addition to the top of the garage. That addition was in the original plans for the property, but the applicant would like to include them. They weren't added due to budgeting reasons prior. And I will pull up an image of what the applicant. So this is the red outline here is the expansion from the original drawings. The applicant wants to expand it in this way because the property being on a hill, the angle makes it difficult to expand the property in any other way. But they do want to use similar materials. Yeah, they want to use similar materials on the property. Oh yeah, so this is the drawing. So this line right here, this dashed line that's highlighted, that's the street elevation. And so this is the property right here. This is the site of the property that's going to be expanded. As you can see, it's barely above elevation. And from the street view, as you can see, there is a fence and vegetation that kind of block the view of the property. For these reasons, we're recommending approval of this site.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
Just for the record. The current use is a garage or parking facility, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and the bottom portion of it is going to remain that?
Yes, sir.
And then the addition is a vertical addition, not horizontal addition, except for a minor overlap.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Anybody else?
There is a drawing of or rendering of that.
It's Mr. Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Callaway.
Yes, Commissioner Callaway. Yeah, I went by the property yesterday, and if go by it, and thing about it is, unless you know where it is, you can't see it. The bushes and so forth is a neat house, and kudos for living on the side of a hill. Good gods, but no, it's what James is saying is very true. Unless you know what you're looking for, you don't see it.
Right.
And so, yeah, and the house next to it, I call it a skyscraper. It's up more on the hill, a big house. So yeah, it's I have no objections myself. I just let you know, yeah, I went past it, and I think it does good.
Okay. Anybody else?
Mr. Chair, Billy Wayne.
Commissioner
Yes.
Conley, and yes,
Yes,
I agree with Commissioner Callaway. We took a look at it too, and what he has observed is exactly what we observed. Vegetation almost covers the structure.
Right. I'm very familiar with that house. If you not quite sure about it, that was Carolyn Nelson's house. If you have any functions there, and it is hidden. It is down the hill. Anyone else have a comment?
Mr. Chair, Billy Wayne, can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can.
Okay, I have a question. James, you said that the MPC, which I saw that, you are recommending this for approval, correct?
Yes, sir.
So the physical aspects of the place will not really have any bearing upon your approval. You were just making comments, right?
I'm sorry. What is your question?
Okay, I'm saying based upon you said the MPC is recommending approval. So I'm saying what Lane and Dr. Conley were saying, it doesn't really have any bearing upon the approval or non-approval. It's just comments they were making, correct?
Regarding the property.
No, I'm asking them. I'm sorry. I should have asked you. Lane, Dr. Conley, you're saying that the physical aspects of property, the grass, etc., it's not going to have any bearing upon you approving or disapproving the MPC recommendations. Okay, that's all I was asking.
Yeah, and that's
Is it-
what it is.
Right.
What it
The
is, Billy,
structure itself,
Can I do a quick point of order here? Y'all need to
the
ask,
structure itself
Say
appears
who's
to
doing what.
be consistent with the
a quick point of order. Y'all are kind of getting out of, need to hear from the applicant, see if anyone, y'all are discussing and y'all don't need to discuss till the end. So Dr. Joyner, you might want to ask if the applicant wishes to speak, people in
Yes.
favor, people are against, and then once everyone spoke, then you all can, as commissioners, discuss and then make a recommendation.
Okay.
I didn't know they were there.
I don't know that they are or aren't.
That's some of the pleasures of Zoom.
That's
Do we
true.
have anyone speaking in favor of this application?
I know I'm not sure if we've been accepting, I believe there are people in the waiting room, and I know the applicant did say he would like to attend.
I'm here.
Okay, you're here?
Yeah.
All right, I just want to double check.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you like to make a statement now? And please identify yourself and your address, please.
Sure. Brad Schmidt, 4118 Fairfield Avenue, Shreveport. I am the applicant. I appreciate everybody driving by to see the situation. It is a house in a hill, and it sounds like you guys are recommending it for approval, and I really appreciate that. I think it's going to be a good addition to the house and the neighborhood.
Anything else, Mr. Schmidt?
That's it.
All right, thank you. Anybody like to speak against this? Okay, that being said, do any other commissioners have any questions or comments?
This is Commissioner White. I'm moved to recommend approval.
Okay, we have a motion. Second?
Commissioner Conley, second.
All right. Let's vote by name. Joyner, yes.
White, yes.
Conley, yes.
Wayne, yes.
Riz, yes.
Lane, yes.
Sounds like it is unanimous.
Unanimous.
Okay. Done. Next item is Certificate of Appropriateness, COA 20-5 HPC. It is 850 Prospect Street, contributing element to the Fairfield Historic District. And James?
Okay, yeah, so this property, as stated, is in the Fairfield Historic District, and the applicant would like to on the, I believe it's the east side of the property. Oh yes, the east side of the property. They'd like to section of the section of that porch, which is on the front side of the property and goes a little bit to the east. They would like to enclose that property and create a sunroom. I'm trying to pull up a photo of the property. But yeah, so here's a photo if you would like me to rotate. So here's a photo of the property. So it's behind the street, so you can't really see where it is. But the applicant has drawings as well of the idea. This is the, I believe this is the, excuse me. I'm trying to turn it back. There we go. Sorry about that. The light just turned off. It's motion censored in this room. So the applicant would like to use similar materials on the site for the new exterior walls for the windows and the doors of the property. They want to repaint, or they want to paint over the new walls to match the colors of the existing property. So they do want to keep that same material characteristics and elements of the property. And from street view, let me pull up a street view. Similar properties in the area, although they don't really have, not sure if any of these properties do have that enclosure. You can see a lot of the properties located near it do have that, do have kind of where the front porch is closed off, or some of it is, some of the house does stick out to the front porch, as the applicant is proposing for this portion of the property, as you can see with this property, and I believe there's another one down the road. So the MPC is recommending approval for this case. So we're recommending approval.
Okay, thank you. Is anyone here to speak on behalf of this?
Yes.
Okay, could you please state your name and your address?
My name is Sam Duggan, D-U-G-G-A-N. Address is 4 Beau Rivage Drive, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71106. I am the contractor that they have employed to do their project.
Yep.
Everything we will do on the exterior of the house will match the existing architecture of windows, color, style. And then the interior of the porch will match the existing house. We will not introduce any materials that are not already on the house. Thank you for your consideration for this project.
Sure. I have a question before we get into any potential negatives. Will this work change the outline of the house? Will it raise the height of the porch area?
No, sir. Everything we're doing will stay inside the roof line, under the roof line. We will not extend beyond the existing porches.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
Nothing at all.
All right. Anyone here wish to speak against this? Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Callaway.
Commissioner Callaway here. I visited the property yesterday, and what a neat house. Good guns. And I went down the block, both sides, and looked at porches and so forth. I found several that half the porch have been enclosed by the house itself for additional room. What they do in this case is a sunroom, and actually it looks neat compared to other ones I've seen along the street there. So I have no objections myself. And again, kudos to the owners of this house for keeping it up as they have. So, but yeah, it looks good, and I can support it. That's all for me.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, there being none, I would like to entertain a motion to accept.
Is
Mr.
Commissioner
Chair,
Callaway,
Billy Wayne, I would like to make I would like to suggest that the HPC accept the recommendations of the MPC for approval.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Do I hear a second?
second from Lane Callaway.
Okay. All in favor? Joyner, aye.
White, aye.
Conley,
Wayne, aye.
Okay.
Conley, aye.
Lane, aye.
Ryan, I.
Okay. There being none and opposed, we will accept. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all very much.
You're welcome.
Not ready to-
Next is Certificate of Appropriateness, COA 20-6 HPC, 854 Williamson Street, contributing element of the St. Paul Bottoms Historic District. And James, whenever you're ready.
This one will be Miriam's case. I believe she's getting ready to run the meeting. I believe you're mute at the moment, Miriam, if you're on.
So you kind of switch it to me.
Was
I
that?
lost your video, your audio.
James, you switch the sharing to me.
Yeah, I believe you're in control already. If not, give me a second to. Okay, I believe I stopped sharing. Do you have access to share?
I share it.
Okay.
Do you see?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we see
Everybody
it.
see? Everybody see the case number 6?
Yes.
Okay. So this case, as Dr. Engelis mentioned, It's in an old galley church. The applicants want stable the structure and the building material, and it's in the. This is the building, and the location of building is here. It's in Williamson Street. Zoning for this property is that it's urban core residential zoning district, and it's in the historical area and in the downtown. And the area that it's hatched, it's the area that they want to stable the structure. And also there is some note here. They want to kind of fix some exterior material like a walkway. And here inside the church,
Mr. Wallace, would you please mute your microphone? Thank you. Miriam, I lost all of your audio. Could you go back to roughly when you said shingle?
from the first, so you saw this?
I did. Yeah, we saw the video. I just couldn't get the audio.
Oh, okay. So the old galley church, the applicants wants to stable the structure and the building material. So when they you see the drawing, the area that it's hatched, it's the area they want to fix it and kind of stable that part. The note that it's here, it's for exterior, like a walkway. They want change the material and fix the part that damaged. When we go down, it's inside the building. Again, the hatch part, it's the area they want to stable the structure. And this is the roof. Some part of the roof is damaged. They want to change it. Also in the elevation, they have some kind of fix the damage of the material. And when we go down, they gave us some details, the way that they want fix. So here all the detail. So it means they go in details and give all the changes and the way they want to fix. So you see about the structure. This is all the details for fix the structure and stable that. And also there is a staircase. They want to fix that. This is the big image of the project.
Yep.
If you want to add something, anyone.
I have some questions.
Sure.
First, and then we'll get into discussion, but this is being done with federal funds, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, at least two grants from the National Park Service.
Yes.
And so all the changes have been, that we see have been brought forward through the National Park Service to their specifications?
I believe so. They have to approve that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Gary, this is Bonnie. They're under consideration of the Park Service.
Okay. I know. I just wanted to make sure it's on, in the record that everything's being done to their high standards. Thank you. That was Bonnie Moore with the City of Shreveport, for the record. Okay, does anybody want to speak for this outside the city or inside the city?
Gary, this is Bonnie Moore, City of Shreveport, 401 Texas Street. And I'm sorry I didn't hear whether it was recommended or not.
MPC is recommending, as I recall.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We're really excited about this project, particularly what it brings to our community. The City of Shreveport, represented by the Department of Community Development and SPAR, have been working with the Northwest Louisiana Civil Rights Coalition for many years to establish a museum dedicated to the rich history of African Americans and the African American experience here. The city has also committed one of their most valuable assets, and that's the old civil rights, Old Galilee Missionary Baptist Church, to this initiative. And as you know, the church has been an immense part of the cultural heritage of the community. We, as you indicated earlier, have received $1 million from the National Park Service, $250,000 of community development block grant, and $750,000 of choice neighborhood funds. And the city, through general funds, have committed $75,000, bringing that total to $2,075,000. We've done a preliminary assessment of the facility. We've also done a structural assessment, and we're now in the specification and drawing process. We appreciate your consideration of this project.
Thank you, Bonnie. This is the crown jewel. I think most people will agree with that. This is what's going to put us on the map when it comes to civil rights, education, and tourism. Is there anyone who wishes to speak against this? Okay. Comments by commissioners, which I just made my first one. So anyone else?
Yeah, I got something, Gary. It's Lane Calloway. And I've been in the church 2 times, one with the State Historic Preservation Office, almost all the staff, and next time with the National Park Service folks who came down, and Bonnie was there. And kudos to Bonnie to keep driving on with this. And I've kept the commission informed on it and so forth over the months here. So obviously I wholeheartedly support it. It's needed, it's been done, it's being done, so let's drive on with it.
So I take it that you're going to vote yes.
Probably, yeah, good choice on that, yeah.
Anyone else have any other comments? Okay, so.
Dr. Joyner, just real quick, I just want to remind everyone that this certificate of appropriateness is just for the stabilization phase. When it comes in later, they'll discuss more of the aesthetic, but that's later on. So just there will be 2 certificate of appropriateness, but they need a certificate of appropriateness in order to get the building permit for the stabilization.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the most important one right now is doing what we're doing, making sure that the property is viable for generations to come. Thank you, Adam. Do I hear a motion to accept this?
It's Commissioner White, motion to accept.
Commissioner Conley, second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, state your name and aye. Joyner, aye.
White, aye.
Conley, aye.
Wren, aye.
Calloway.
Calloway, very definite, yes, aye.
Did I miss anybody? All right, approved. This is wonderful. Bonnie, you have done just a marvelous job. The city's done a good job. MPC's helped. HPC's been involved. We've already done from the LSU Shreveport side, we've already been there and done outside videos that we will post. And this is going to be the grand anchor for the Civil Rights Trail that we hope to bring about very quickly. It'll be
Thank you all so much for your approval, but I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge Stephen Therese, who has been my champion for a lot of this.
Yep.
I agree. I agree. All right, thank you. Next item is a certificate of demolition, COD 20-7 HPC, 427 Wyandotte Street. It's in the Highland H Pod. And James or Miriam, whoever is going to speak for MPC.
Miriam, this is your case.
This building is done violation to the city code, so it's cited for demolish. You see, this is the building that we talk, and it's in the Highland Historical District. This is the location, Wyandotte Street, and here where we go down, it's the single family housing. And if it's kind of demolished, the land, the vacant land will be ready for new development. So maybe it's a good for community to have a new single housing and clean.
Mm-hmm.
Because of those facts, we recommend it to the commissioner for approval.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone that wishes to speak in favor of this?
Yes, sir, Commissioner Lisa Hayes,
Okay.
Property Standard.
And okay, thank you. Go ahead.
1027 Shreveport Barksdale Highway. I'm the inspector on this case, and I want to definitely have it demolished. As you can see, there's nothing else that we can do with it, and I just like the blessing on proceeding with demolishing it.
Looks pretty bad.
Yes, sir. It's actually a hazard to the community at this time, especially with children and everybody being out, and people get curious, and it needs to come down as soon as possible.
Anyone here to speak against demolition? All right, commissioners, comments?
I'm not, Commissioner Conley, I'm not necessarily against demolition. I passed by the other day and it appeared that some changes are being made. I noticed that there were new windows and perhaps there were other things too. Did anybody else make that same observation? Or does anybody know whether any improvements are on the way at that location?
This is Dr. Joyner. The last time I went by it, it looked pretty much like this. I'm not sure if someone was putting in new windows or taking windows that are viable and using them someplace else, but it looks like a bomb hit it.
Also, draw around the neighborhood, it's the same as we see in the video.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. I would entertain a motion to demolish this building.
It's Commissioner Callaway. I make the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Callaway moves. Second?
Conley, I second.
Conley seconds. All in favor? Aye. Joyner? Aye.
Three, second.
White, aye.
Conley,
Wren,
aye.
Wren, I.
Callaway, aye.
I didn't hear Mr. Wayne. May not be there for the moment. Okay. There being a total absence of nays, it's approved.
Thank you so much, Commissioner.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate your hard work.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next item is Certificate of Appropriateness, COA 20-8 HPC, 1519 Creswell Avenue. It's in the Highland Historic District. It is a vacant lot. And James, is this yours or is it Marion's?
Yes, this one is mine.
Okay.
All right, so as stated again, this is in the Highland Historic District. This property, excuse me. The case is being primarily, or the section of the property that's being primarily addressed is the two parcels located on Jordan Street. I'll show you a picture of it. So here is the property. As you can see, there's 3 different parcels here. The applicant will need to get the parcels replatted. They have to go through the HPC prior to additional procedures that they have to undergo. This is the property. The property is a site of a health clinic, and that is the health clinic exists on this parcel right here that actually connects to Creswell Avenue. The two parcels at the north facing Jordan, those are the 2 vacant properties. What the applicant would like to do here is add additional parking, 10 parking spots to the Creswell, or to the Jordan Street portion of the property. They did provide a drawing. So as I was saying, so this is the drawing for the proposal. This section here, again, already exists. The only thing that the applicant would be adding to this section is the vegetation. The applicant plans to add about 10 trees around the property, and then some vegetation, some shrubs around the property as well. As you go from this parcel up north, you see this is the proposed section of the property. As stated again, this section is currently vacant, so the applicant is wanting to add 10 parking spaces, also a detention pond, and then shrubbery, and then 6-foot fencing to cover the rest, to cover that section of the property. The parking or the driveway is going to be one way, so it's going to be entrance from Creswell, and then you'd have to exit from Jordan Street. They did include the vegetation, the types of vegetation. If you would you like for me to read each one?
Just general type, if you would.
Okay, I'm gonna have to kind of move up close. Can you still hear me?
I can.
Okay, so the applicant's looking to add 15 trees, 5 southern magnolia, 5 bald cypress, and then 5 river birch. And then they want to add 121 shrubs. They want to add azalea, common boxwood, Indian hawthorn, Japanese barberry, juniper, camellia, and dwarf. It's gonna be hard for me to read this one. Dwarf Nonona. Sorry, I don't know my plants too well, but yeah, those are all the plants the applicant would like to add to the property. I believe that's pretty much everything I have on it. But this is the side of it from Jordan Street. I can also go to Street View to show you. So this is the side of the property that already exists on Creswell. So this would be the driveway, and then as you zoom out, you see the driveway or the pavement would go towards this section to this site. The FPC is recommending approval for this due to the fact that the applicant is trying to conceal the parking. If you look at other parking in the area, it's very exposed, and this applicant is trying to add greenery and fencing to kind of reduce the impact of the aesthetic parking, as well as the parking does start, if you look back, the parking does start, it's not directly on the street, it is pushed back a little bit with the detention pond and a tree between the property and the street. So the MPC is recommending approval.
James, before we proceed, I've got a couple of questions. First of all, just state for the record, what clinic is this?
Yes, I apologize, it slipped my mind, but it is, all I have listed is that it's a health clinic. I know the applicant is on here. If the applicant would like to answer that. I apologize, but the name of the clinic that has slipped my mind. I don't.
Oh, we'll find it. We'll get it through process. Does the applicant own all of those lots that the request is being made for?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay, could you go back? Let's see now down to a map that shows. I'll tell you when. Okay, I see what you've got. Look at the the two lots, one split into two, below the numbers 15, 19. Yes, do they own that?
No. Actually, one of the people who want to provide public comments, I believe he owns one, if not both, of the properties here.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to get some clarification. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this?
Yes, this is Andy Craig with Moore and Associates, applicant representing the owner. And Gary, to answer your question, what's outlined in red there on that map is what the owner, Dr. Burnham, owns. And I'll have to apologize. We were not involved in the original special use permit for the clinic on this. When we were asked only to submit and try to get a permit for the parking lot. So I don't have a lot of history on the 1519 office. In fact, I learned more from the public comments from Mr. Arsenault about what the office is there, but it apparently is a mental health counseling agency, a healthcare, been listed as a healthcare facility. So I'm sorry I won't be able to address much of that, but I can talk about any of the parking lot, the landscape and fencing, all that. We've worked extensively with the Planning Commission, as we usually do on these special use permits, to get the site plan to meet the requirements, site plans for the parking lot. And I had to back up and do some work on the around the office there too, as you can see on the site plan that was submitted to meet their requirements. And we've done that best that we can.
Okay, all right.
That's
anything else?
Site plan there.
All right. James,
Yes.
I have a question about the fence.
Yes, sir.
Tell me if I'm wrong. 6 is the minimum, right? And you can't have it above a certain height. Is that correct?
I believe, I think it's the other way around. Adam might need to correct me, but I believe 6 is the maximum. And
maximum.
It can't be higher. Yes.
8 is the maximum, 6 is the minimum.
Okay.
Okay, so that's what I thought. I just wasn't sure about that. Okay, anyone else wanting to speak in favor of this? All right, now those opposed. I have Mr. Arsenault and Mr. Spears listed.
Actually, Dr. Joyner, there were 4 people who wished to speak. one of those sent in a written comment. I can read it. You can read it because I forwarded it to you. I know Mr. Arsenault is online, and there were 3 others who may be online as well.
Are they online and opposed or online and for?
They're all online as opposed.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, let's start with Mr. Arsenault since he's online and I can see him. Hello, Mr. Arsenault.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start by referring you back to the prior. This is not supposed to be a health clinic. This is supposed to be administrative offices for people who primarily make off-site visits. And that's what was represented in 2018 when the special use permit was granted. So I think it's, Mr. Craig is a very fine fellow. We work together on many occasions, and I have great respect for him, but I do not think he was aware, as he said, of the of what this was supposed to be. And that's very, very significant in terms of the impact of this on a historic district. This is not something that's necessary for this person to operate the business that she represented to the MPC she was going to operate. And I think that's a very important factor here. My wife, Elizabeth, has lived across the street from this her whole life. Well, she went away for a number of years, but her family has owned the property at 536 Jordan. If you would put up photo 1, Adam, please. She has lived, her family has lived in this home since 1948. We took it over and restored it in 2009 and lived there until about a week ago when we moved our residence to 615 Jordan, which is another property that we have completely restored on this very historic street of Jordan Street. So our current address is 615 Jordan Street, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71101. We also restored for resale and sold a house at 636 Jordan. So we know a great deal about this block and its historic significance. Most of the staff report basically looks at Jordan Street as an extension of this property on Crestwell, rather than looking at the property from Jordan Street, which is where these lots face. And I think when you look at that block of Jordan Street, you will be able to see that it's quite a different picture. So I'd like to show you some other pictures of what is across the street and next door to these lots on Jordan Street. They are not on Crestwell, they are on Jordan Street. The first one is kind of a remarkable victory. For over 20 years, the house at 532 Jordan, where Mr. Spears lives, was a dilapidated, illegally converted fourplex with a dilapidated garage apartment, and by Elizabeth's mother, Dewana Montgomery, and us, both with Dewana and after her death. We pursued it for more than 20 years to finally get demolition orders that resulted in it being sold and converted to a single-family dwelling, now occupied by the Spears family, a wonderful family. If you look at photo 2, there's a picture of 532 Jordan. If you look to the left on that photo, you'll see a part of our home. If you look to the right, you can see a restored bungalow, which is very significant as well. If you look across the street at 533 Jordan Street, that is a home, a historic location at the corner of Stevens Street, and it is immediately to the east of the lots that face Jordan Street. That house is under contract by Jason and Charlotte Russell. I think Mr. Russell is on the call at least. They are about to close on that house, and they intend to restore it to use as their home. The next one, the next photo 4, that's 3. That's the house that, I'm sorry, Adam, I'm confusing you. Go back to 3. I'm looking in my phone for the call, and I'm looking on my computer above it, so I missed it. But that's 533 Jordan. 552 Jordan is across the street from this. That's another single family home. It's occupied by some roommates, but it is a single family home, and a good bit of work has been done. Not as extensive as our home, but a good bit of work has been done on that dwelling. And then for commercial properties, if you look across the street, I'm not sure the address of this one at photo 5. This is a home. This is in the historic district, has a special use permit to permit it to be an office. The significance of this is that the parking on this house site, or office site, is completely contained on the site where the property is located. That is the pattern of the parking in this area. If you look at the Deaf Action Center, if you look at other places, they are compact places with parking, and they do not cause parking to extend, in this case, 160 feet, basically constructing a street for all the length of that lot and leaving the rest of the lot vacant. Here, the photo 6 is a view, is a photo that I took that you can see how far away the Crestwell property is. That is the exterior fence. Way down there, you can barely see the building. And that is what is planning to be done to create basically a street, which will change the pattern of the traffic pattern on Jordan by putting a significant curb cut there and having property from Crestwell exit directly onto Jordan Street. That's a change in orientation, and it's a change in traffic pattern that is not consistent with the area in the historic district. Finally, there simply isn't a need for this. If you look at photo 7 is a picture of the parking that's available. This is a small building on Crestwell. It is supposed to be used as administrative offices. It should not have a steady flow of patients coming in and out because it's not a health clinic. And there is a good bit of parking there. And in fact, there was enough parking that there was no parking variance that was involved when the zoning case that approved that was there. What I suspect is that there is a development plan for these lots that is not being disclosed. I know after Dr. Burnham purchased the lots from the Deaf Action Center, not long after that, there was a large mature tree on the other part of these lots that was removed. It did not need to be removed for the purpose of the parking lot. Is probably 75 feet away from the parking lot. So what I think here is we're going to move this and this and this, and it really reminds me very much of the duplex units at Dalzell and Fairfield in the Fairfield Historic District that kind of snuck up on everybody. We really do not want that to happen on Jordan Street. There are several of us who have spent literally decades, a huge amount of time, effort, and money to restore this 500 block of Jordan Street. And we believe that this is not an appropriate building and structure. It's a bare parking lot with no other structure on the lots in question. It changes the orientation of this property from Jordan Street after it would be combined from Jordan Street to Cresswell Avenue. It changes the traffic pattern on Jordan Street, and it's not consistent with the alignment, rhythm, and spacing of the 500 block of Jordan Street. Frankly, it simply doesn't meet the criteria for a certificate of appropriateness here, and it is not appropriate for the development that's in the 500 block of Jordan Street. I thank you for your attention. Also, thank you all for your service. I know that that you serve without compensation. This takes a good bit of time. You're called on to make difficult decisions, so we thank you. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Arsenault. Adam, I have a question, sort of as a point. Mr. Arsenault brought up that that this building was supposed to be offices. Have they come back for any kind of variance or to change what they want to do with it, having any inpatient or outpatient?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Okay, thank you. If they haven't come in, do you want to go ahead and let the other speakers against into the meeting out of the waiting room?
Is there anybody else in there?
Hello, I'm here.
Can you give us your name and your address, sir?
My name is Jason Russell, and I currently live in 9621 Ferncliff in Bethany. However, I am the one that's purchasing 533 Jordan. I'm set to close on that house on the 4th of June, and I look forward to restoring it and moving my family into it.
Okay. And
yes, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm asking for comments why you're either for or against.
Yes, so we're buying that house and to move into, and I was unaware of the changes, of the proposed changes for those lots. As a matter of fact, I was looking forward to possibly purchasing at least one of them to make the yard larger on that other house, because it's pretty well bound. The boundaries are pretty well set, and it's tight. But then I found out through the process that there was a request for change, and then I've learned a lot about it through Mr. Arsenault. And I just like to piggyback on his words that it does not flow with the neighborhood, and I think having that much parking with the traffic, the potential traffic, is probably not the best use of that space.
Okay. Anything else?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Okay. Anyone else speaking against?
I'm Charlotte Russell, also under contract to purchase 533 Jordan, and I'm opposed to this for all of the reasons that Mr. Arsenault and my husband just mentioned. It just does not flow with the neighborhood, and there are other examples of mental health counseling services, healthcare clinics in that neighborhood that do have patients in and out and do not have this volume of parking and haven't disrupted the neighborhood in this way.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else want to speak against? All right.
Dr. Joyner, do you want me to read the formal letter of opposition? They didn't want to speak,
Please.
but they did want. All right. But before I read the letter, an update on that 2018 special use permit. It is null and void. I checked on that just a second ago. A certificate of occupancy was never obtained, so that special use permit from 2018 no longer exists. The current case that is in front of the MPC right now was deferred. It is tentatively scheduled for July, providing that they submit site plans and all the required documents, but that is tentative. That hasn't been finalized yet. The letter of opposition that did come through, it says, I am formally against a parking lot being created in this area. My wife and I are raising a family where several of our children are under 10 years old. A parking lot being added will create an unnecessary additional traffic. This neighborhood is changing to be more family friendly with wonderful pockets of business throughout. There are several available businesses with existing parking lots already paved and where traffic expects a parking lot to be. There's no need to convert green space to a commercial lot. Thank you for your dedication in improving Shreveport, my home. Signed, M. Tyler Spears, 532 Jordan Street.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, anyone want to ask questions or make comments?
Yeah, I do, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Callaway.
Commissioner Callaway here. I've been past this building several times when we work on the Depth Action building and so forth, and other buildings in the area there. It's look at the diagram that James has up there, the map. It seems to me they want 10 spaces. They could put 10 spaces behind the current building, it looks like. Mm-hmm. For one thing. My other 2 points is that the vacant lots where the proposed parking is, it seems like a waste of land that could be, a house could be built on instead of a parking lot. And my 3rd point is that it seems like the proposed parking lot is bigger than the building itself. It's just, yeah, it's, to me, it's just, I concur what those who have talked against this, it doesn't flow. So yeah, that's my 2 cents worth.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, Gary, this is Commissioner White. I would just not only want to echo what Lane just said, but also just add for what it's worth. The last thing we need in that neighborhood is more concrete and more parking spaces. We need more green. We need to preserve the not just the architectural integrity, but I think also the current, as Mr. Arsenault has said, the current flow of that area is so important. Maintaining the integrity of the original neighborhood, and so this is just for me completely a no-brainer.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Commissioner Connolly, and I certainly do concur with Dr. White. As I read Mr. Arsenault's very engaging text, I was convinced that it's this kind of ardor that keeps not only the historic Highland district, but any district what it is designed to be. When we have citizens who have invested so much time, so much of their capital, and more so their hearts in keeping the district, the historic district that it is. So I think it's a no-brainer as well.
Thank you, Dr. Connolly. Anyone else? Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Real quick, Dr. Joyner.
Yes.
I have to tread carefully in saying this. When it comes to the certificate of appropriateness, your certificate of appropriateness needs to go within the design standards of what would be on the lot. Even though I know a lot of what the opposition is the use itself, your recommendation can't be on the use. Your recommendation needs to be solely on the appropriateness of what is being proposed. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
This is the applicant. I was gonna voice the same issue that Adam just brought up, that most of the comments, the opposition has been based on the use of it, and I'm not sure that's the purpose of this commission. I'll tell you, I'm not real sure what the purpose of the commission is, except for the historical aspects of it. But the land use issues on this will be discussed with the Planning Commission when we come up in the next hearing. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, thank you, sir. Okay, so Adam, let's see if this works as a question. Considering only the land use of the application, and with what we've heard, from both sides. Well, three sides, including the city. I would entertain a motion from one of the commissioners to either approve the proposed land use or disapprove it. Does that work, Adam?
Well, your recommendation doesn't have anything to do with the land use. I mean,
Okay, then would you make an appropriate motion language, and then we'll go with it.
Well, either you'll recommend, you know, how they're proposing the landscaping and from a historical perspective, or you'll deny it. Or
Right.
you recommend denial, saying, hey, you know, we just flat out deny it. Or you recommend approval, or you can recommend approval with the following conditions. You can say, hey, in order to keep with the historic character of the neighborhood, you propose X, Y, and Z. But that would merely have to come from the commissioners.
Yes, I understand.
Dr. Joyner, this
Yes,
is
ma'am.
Commissioner White.
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
I need to get some kind of clarification here, because I'm sort of hearing mixed messages. So the our recommendation could be, I mean, doesn't it touch upon the historical character if the land use that is proposed alters the historical character of the neighborhood? I guess I'm confused.
I thought I was not confused, but now I am.
So Adam, can I get some clarification about that? I'm sorry, maybe I missed something.
Well, I mean, the use itself, it can't be in question. I mean, it's I mean, there's an avenue through the special use permit, which is tentatively scheduled to go before the MPC board in July. Because of that, there is a site plan. That site plan through the special use permit is permitted, or the use is permitted through the special use. And that decision is solely made by the MPC board. You, as a Historic Preservation Commission, have to look at the aesthetical historic qualities when it comes to, is that not the land use, but the look of it, the massing of it, the siding of it, the setbacks of it, do those comply with the historic character of the district? Did I help clarify that?
Yes, I think that helps. Thank you, Adam.
Okay.
Dr. Joyner,
Yes.
this is Billy Wayne. Listening to the applicants as well as listening to Adam, it is apparent that the HPC parameters should not be dealing with anything but the land use. I'm sorry, should not be dealing with the land use. So therefore, are we clear before we vote yay or nay? Are we totally clear, or should we consider revisiting this?
Deferring and continuing is an option.
Well, I would like to make a motion, since we apparently understand what the parameters of the HPC should be, then perhaps we need to revisit this or table it till the next meeting. Would that be in order?
It would. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I understand what the residents. I understand. I'm sorry. I understand what the residents are saying. I totally understand. But I also understand the parameters of what our role should be.
Right. And this is Commissioner White again jumping in here, but I see sort of some fuzzy area here with regard to the historical integrity. If that is within our purview, I've got some real questions about clarifying where that starts and stops.
Exactly.
I believe Dr. Conley seconded Mr. Wayne's motion. So let's have a vote on whether or not to to delay this till the next month so we can have some more time to look at it. So we have a motion and a second. So I would entertain a vote to delay, actually. And I'll start. I'll say that we should delay a month.
Commissioner White, I vote to delay for a month.
Commissioner Wayne, delay.
Conley, I vote to delay for a month.
Wren, I vote to delay for a month.
Mr. Callaway?
I'm torn. I mean, obviously, you got the votes to delay, and we can delay it. I have no problem. Okay, I vote yes on that. But a comment, if I could, Mr. Chair. And getting back to the, this is 2 lots that the person owns. Only one lot is going to be put a parking lot in, proposed. True? Am I reading that right?
That's my understanding.
Yeah. So therefore, it will not be proper land use. What you're going to do, you're going to leave this a vacant lot?
It seems to me, this is Commissioner Wren, that we delay until the MPC makes a decision on land use, since that is not in our purview. And then we look at the historical nature of the proposed parking lot, if it passes or not.
I agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. I
My first concern here is really the overall historical integrity. And I guess I'm going to need to get some clarification the next month about what exactly comes under our purview.
Exactly.
Because I'm confused.
Okay, well, we voted in unanimity.
Yes. Good.
Yeah.
So we will delay it, and then in the meantime, if Adam and James can get us some more information on the strict guidelines of what we are going to look at, we would appreciate that before the June meeting.
All right, won't be a problem.
Okay, thank you. All right. Next item, Certificate of Appropriateness, COA 20-9 HPC, corner of Wall Street and Highland Avenue within the Highland Historic District. James, is this yours?
No, this one is Miriam's case.
Okay. Miriam, we're ready for you. If she's there, I have no audio.
Are you seeing the screen?
Yes.
Yes. We're ready for you whenever you are.
James, are you sure you changed it?
Yeah, so it's showing your screen right now.
Yeah, because I cannot change my.
Do you have control over it or no?
There we go. Nope, that's the last one.
This is showing mine. I'm trying to stop. Okay. Yeah.
Miriam, we can see your screen.
Yes. Now I can see. Before that, I couldn't see mine. So that's why I asked James to kind of switch it again. Okay. This case is for Brentwood Hospital. They asking for, they're asking to have a space for the parking lot. This is the area, this is the hospital. They asking for the parking to have in this parcel and in 2 parcel here. These 2 parcel, it's in the historical district. So our focus are just for these 2 parcels. The parcel is CUC, and it's kind of, they need to get special use permit to use as a parking lot. This is the picture of the area. This is the lots, 2 parcel that we are talking. This is the site design for propose. Let's see. Okay. This is the 2 parcel that we are talking. They are going to use the fence to kind of hide the shape of the parking lot, and they kind of put the green like a tree or shade to kind of cover the ugly face of the parking here. The fence that they are using, the existing parking has this shape of the fence. And also they kind of recommended this type of shape. So the MPC kind of give the approval and request for approval for that, for the client.
Okay. Let me ask my usual questions. First of all, Brentwood owns those 2 lots?
This, yes, this is true.
Okay. And right now it's vacant.
Yes.
There had been a Queen Anne on either adjacent to it or on it, and it was allowed to be demolished by neglect. And you're saying that they want to put a chain link fence around it?
Yes, they want to do that. As I mentioned in the map, let's see. Here, they have existing parking.
Have you got a photograph of how that is bounded?
Yes, they have existing parking here, and the picture that they use for the fence is like this. So the developer recommended use the same shape of the fence.
Iron.
In the morning, they send me this kind of product, and they told this is the one they want to use. It
Mr.
depends.
Chairman, this is the applicant. Sorry, Mary Ann, to interrupt, but I just want to simplify the Highland and the Wall Street frontage. We'll continue with the existing wrought iron fence as Miriam showed. Anything in the back will be the vinyl chain link. But this, in that picture there is the wrought iron. That's what we're going to have on the Highland frontage and Wall Street. Or that Johnny?
No, just on Highland.
Just on the wrought iron will be continued south on Highland. And then the rest of it in the back and on Wall Street will be the chain link, the black vinyl chain link. I hope that simplified it.
Yeah, it does. The photograph was of a chain link that was definitely not.
We're going to be doing both, so that's why we have pictures of both of them, the specs on the chain link and on the wrought iron. But the
Well, at this point, I'm sorry. At this point, we would ask for proponents. And so why don't you just go ahead and continue?
Okay, this is Andy Craig with Moore and Associates, 1324 North Hearn. We're the speaking for the applicant on this, and I have Brad Massey with Gene Nims going to be the contractor on this with me also, if you have any questions for him. But as Miriam said, the Brentwood owns the entire lot, and they're in desperate need of additional parking to try to get, right now they're parking out on Highland and some on Vine Street, and we're trying to get they're attempting to provide more area to get some of the parked cars off of the streets. And so they desperately need these areas. And even the vacant lot you see next to the Wall Street lot, they're trying to purchase that and that house so that they can make even more improvements. There's a.
Are you talking, excuse me, are you talking about the house that's the fourth from the right? It's got a really complex roof.
Yes.
Is that currently a residence?
Is it occupied now?
I think it's boarded up.
We think it's boarded up, but
sure.
abandoned. They're having trouble finding the owners on that. Probably multiple owners on it, but they are making an attempt to do that in the vacant lot. So they're, and of course, they want to do it appropriately and to the Planning Commission requirements. We're going to be heavily landscaped. And the only portion of the project is, as Miriam said, the Wall Street parking lot, at the corner of Wall Street and Highland. We happen to be on the north end of the historic district here. There's an alley between them. We've petitioned the city to abandon that alley, so we can't do any kind of platting and combining of the lots until that abandonment is done, but we've started that process, or the hospital has.
Have you, this is Dr. Joyner again. Have you looked at any cultural resource investigations there?
No, none that I know of.
All right. Well, I'm going to heartily recommend that whatever you do, you should, because Wall Street was not named after a family. It was the Confederate defensive wall.
It was what? I'm sorry.
That's where the Confederates had their Confederate defenses along Wall Street. That's why it's named Wall Street. Second thing is that it was, you've got an artillery battery that a major one, really a small fort that's in where the back parking area is above Brentwood. There's a historic marker that says that. And this is all part of the same thing. Before anything is put in there, I would absolutely recommend that you do a cultural resource master plan. Somebody that knows what they're doing. Civil War, colonial, mid-19th century, not just somebody that's going to check off a box. Yeah, we didn't find anything. That's just being a good neighbor. Okay, I'm sorry, but I flow of consciousness, that's the first thing I thought. Yeah, do you have anything else, Mr. Craig?
No, I think that pretty much explains it. Miriam, did I leave anything appropriate out that you know of?
Hey, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
It's Commissioner Calloway. I got a question. On the parking lot that's proposed, it does not intrude upon the Pickett's property. That's the vacant lot next door. Hello?
We can hear you. There was just something going on in the background somewhere.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the parking lot does not intrude upon the Pickett property next door, which is the vacant lot.
Right, it's not going to impede on that vacant lot.
Yeah, because that used to be a Queen Anne cottage that was, as Gary said, badly deteriorated. I visited it, and it was March of 2017. And then we talked with the owner, and the HPC voted in September 19th, 2017 to go ahead and demolish it. As for the house next door, back in the day, there's someone living in there, although it was in bad shape too. Okay, but I understand the Pickett property is not being intruded upon. Okay, got it.
Okay. Does anyone else want to speak in favor of this issue? Sound like somebody wanted to come in, but I can hear nothing.
Yes, this is Brad Massett with G&M's Builders.
Yes.
Working with the hospital on this property, and they're in dire need of additional parking for the new tower that they've built. And they've got this heavily landscaped. It's not going to be, they want to get the traffic off of Highland. Right now, they're not at full capacity, but when they were at full capacity before COVID-19, they were parking all the way almost down to Stoner. And they're parking at the health clinic next door. I mean, it's just, it's nuts. They are just in dire need of this parking. And they're willing to work with anybody. They're not trying to make anything ugly. They want to definitely add to the neighborhood. They're friends of the neighborhood, and anything that they can do, they are willing to step up and do, and to make this pleasing to the eye as possible. And that's why it's heavily landscaped. They've got wrought iron there with heavy landscaping as well. I think there's a little miscommunication. The wrought iron stops at Highland and the alley. We were going to go ahead and put up a chain link fence from down the rest of the way to Wall Street and around. But it's going to be heavily landscaped. You're not even going to know that the fence is there. And with irrigation. So they really want to dress up the area around them. And that's what we've also talked with MPC about as well. So that's all I have to say. But thank y'all all for your time and efforts that y'all are doing here. And thank y'all for being here for us.
Sure, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Does anybody want to speak against this proposal? Okay, commissioners, thoughts?
Yes, Dr. Joyner, this is Commissioner White. Can I please get them to clarify again for me where the wrought iron starts and stops? I'm looking at the map right now. Do I understand that the wrought iron does not extend down to the corner of Highland and Wall and then doesn't make the corner at Wall? That's all chain link?
Yes, ma'am. At this point, the way it is, the wrought iron stops at the alleyway, and we were going to tie on at that point at the alley down the rest of Highland Street to Wall Street. Yes, ma'am, that is correct. It will be chain link fence unless we need to move into wrought iron in lieu of. But it's so heavily landscaped, the fence is not going to even be seen. And if you go by now, you can see the crepe myrtles out in front of the iron fence now, but once we put the additional landscaping, you're not even going to see that wrought iron at that point. It's basically be a wall of shrubbery and low shrubs and trees.
Right, right.
Yes,
And I mean, and I understand also that the chain link is going to be less expensive,
Oh,
probably,
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sure.
Yes, ma'am.
But the historical integrity of that area, I mean, chain link seems a little bit anachronous to me. But
Okay.
that's my 2 cents.
Okay, well, I will go ahead and talk on behalf of the hospital. If that's the case, Cheryl, we will extend the wrought iron from the alley down to the corner of Highland and Wall. That's
How do the other commissioners feel about that? Am I the only lone voice out there?
No, this is Dr. Joyner. I agree completely. I want it to flow from what it is now to what it, in Gary Joyner's view, what it should be. But yeah, I agree with that, Dr. White. Anybody else?
This is Commissioner Callaway with the water out fencing, then turn the corner and go on Wall Street too.
No,
I
sir.
hope so.
Well,
Yeah.
if y'all would like it to, then yes, we will. We
Yeah,
were gonna,
well, but
but
as I
if-
understand,
we're willing
as
to
I-
work with y'all on whatever you want us to do as far as that goes. So we're not
Yeah.
gonna make this an issue. If y'all would like that, then so be it. That's what we will do.
but I foresee eventually if more parking is needed, you can probably ask the Pickets to sell their land, get the house next to it down and so forth, and you're going to extend your parking. So therefore, maybe you should extend also the route down that way too.
Yes, sir.
Long
That's
wall.
correct. Yes, sir.
But
Along wall,
not,
yes.
but this is Dr. Jordan, but not on the interior up against where that Queen Anne was.
That's true.
That would
Right.
be the least expensive method for you to, if you
Yeah.
expand, to take care of that, right?
Yes,
So,
sir.
as long as it went along the roadways,
Yes.
Yes, I agree with that, Gary.
plural. Yeah.
And
I agree with that,
I'll give you
absolutely.
2 thumbs up on that, Dr. Joyner. We will take care of that. If that's what's needed. Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else?
Gary, this is Billy, Commissioner Wayne. I like the wrought iron on the Wall Street side as well.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay. Let's see. Let's do a vote, and then I'm going to make a comment. I would entertain a motion to accept this proposal with the changes that have been discussed on fencing. Do I have a
Dr.
motion?
Joyner, this is
Yes.
Commissioner White. I move to accept with modifications we just discussed.
I have a motion from Dr. White. Do I have a second?
Commissioner Wayne, I second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Joyner, aye.
White, aye.
Wayne, aye.
Conley, aye.
Is Callaway aye?
I believe I didn't hear from Amy Wren. She may not be there right now. Okay, it passes. Motion passes. I can't order you to do it by any means, but I would really suggest doing a good review of that property before you put down any asphalt or plantings, just to harvest whatever may be there. A lot of material has come up from that intersection and back several lots on all 4 sides. And if you have any problems with it, you can call our department at LSUS and we can help you. If you can find somebody else, that's fine. I'm not telling you to use us by any means, but you need to have somebody investigate it in case something pops up.
We'll consider that.
Hopefully not something like, bodies. There was no battle there, but they
Sure.
did bury people around.
Okay, well, thank you for all your comments. This is very appropriate, and Dr. Joyner, we can get back with you on that appropriateness of doing that investigation.
Okay.
But we sure appreciate y'all's time and consideration today.
Sure. Okay. I believe we are in good shape. Somebody just dropped off because I'm looking at me.
We have one more.
We do. We have another one. All right. Next item, Certificate of Appropriateness, COA 20-10-HPC, 408 Cotton Street, Contributing Element, Shreveport Commercial Historic District. And James, we're ready.
Okay, so yes, this is 408 Cotton Street. This is the location of the Cotton Street Garage, which is a 15,000 square foot single story party wall brick garage and storage facility. There are 2 oversized garage bay that make up the facade. The applicant wants to take the property up. The applicant, just go to the images, but the applicant would like to take, excuse me, let me see if I can pull up. No, it's not showing. All right, well, there's supposed to be some photos. I don't know whether it's showing, but
Photo was there for just there you go. There's a photo.
there were more photos. If you don't mind, I can pull it up from our computer. But yeah, the applicant. Just to show you. All right, are you guys able to see this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the applicant would like to. This is the current condition of the property. So as you can see, it's pretty vacant. It's vacant. Old fencing, old barriers, and you can see there's a little mezzanine located within the property. But what the applicant would like to do is transform the property into 4 office spaces. They want to change the property into 4 office spaces. So this is the front of the property at the bottom of this image. And then as you can see, that would include putting up walls, putting up 4 walls, dividing the property into these 4 office spaces. A lot of this project involves, interior elements such as adding bathrooms, kitchens for each space, and like I said, just sectioning them off. The applicant would also like to add. I'm sorry. The file. The applicant would also like to add, change the entrances. As you can see, from the inside, they would also be adding a wall. They want to preserve this, which if you could see in the photo was this little office space. So they want to preserve that section. But they do want to add some new garage fencing that would go down, automated doors, basically. Yes, and with the MPC is recommending approval with the conditions that the applicant can follow the guidelines. They are working with the National Registry and the National Park Service, so we added conditions that they follow those guidelines. But yeah,
because of tax credits.
Yes.
They are applying for tax credits.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Could you go back?
Did you say yes? Excuse me. Did you say yes? They are applying.
Yes, I believe so. The applicant is on. If you'd like to confirm or add anything else.
Before you go, and we go to the applicant, could you bring back the page that shows the parcels and or the building outlines?
Are you talking about here?
Yeah. Okay. It's only inside the red. It's not the beveled corner on Cotton.
Yes, sir. And I can show you the street view as well. Yes, it's just this portion.
Right.
So it's just this section right here.
And it only goes back to the old alley.
Yes, all the way back to the alley. But the applicant is, it's about like this portion of the property is their focus. I'll show you, if you go to the, so if you look at these images, besides this little pathway, they're just focusing on this section of the property forward. So this back portion isn't really being, that's for later future development.
That was my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a proposed extension to this?
Yes.
Okay. Does it include going all the way to the right to the street?
I believe the applicant does want to address the rest of the building in the future, but
okay. Could you go back to the aerial photograph, please?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're looking at basically are the tan tops
You're talking, yes, that's right here.
Right there, plus behind it.
You said plus behind it?
Yes. That future?
No.
Guys, I'm here if you would like to talk to the owner of the property.
We will, Mr. Spikes,
Okay.
I promise.
Okay.
I'm just trying to get some parameters in for the discussion. Okay, so we'll only go back to the old alley, right where your mouse, right there.
Yeah.
That's the northernmost extent.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Mr. Spikes, would you like to speak in behalf of this?
Yes, sir. And sorry, my name on the screen is showing up as Isaac Spikes. That's my son. We had a little bit of Zoom schooling going on, as you guys probably know. So I didn't realize I was logged in as my middle child.
You're not alone.
So Jeff Spikes, 417 Lake Street, Shreveport, Louisiana. That's my current office address. It's just a block away from where I'm at now. Yeah, basically, what James just said is what I'm doing. I'm wanting to convert those front couple of bays that face Cotton into office, and then preserve the rear of the building as just basically, kind of storage and shop space right now until I decide. I mean, I have no idea. I don't have any intentions of putting more offices back there. If maybe apartments in the future, but right now I've only got the resources to do that. The front piece that faces Crockett Street is office space, and so that's what I'm planning to do right now.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I mean, I will say that I've gotten my part 1 and part 2 approved by state and federal. They, part of what they've asked me to do is keep those walls out of that bay, just because they want to preserve those 2 open bays, which, I mean, honestly, that's probably what needs to happen. Those chain link gates, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to handle that. They won't be chain link. The new gates I want there are going to be a more linear, kind of like a security gate that's retractable instead of just plain old chain link, because I think that goes better with with the building. So
okay. Did when you were talking to those governmental agencies, did they mention anything to you about your historic signage?
They basically, she basically just said, don't, leave the brick like it is. Don't harm any of the brick. Like on the backside, there's the painted mural, and I for my part of it, I mean, I could probably they would allow me to paint, pressure wash that white paint off the front. I don't really want to do that. I kind of just want to leave it like it is. I mean, that antique sign is a very recent addition. I think.
Yeah, I'm only talking about historic signage, not
right. Yeah. No, all the that's all the paint and the wording, even on the inside. There are a couple of really cool murals. Is part of the reason I want to
stop it right there, if you would. Not you, Mr. Spikes, but
that really needs to stay like it is. So
if you pressure wash it, you take a real good chance of damaging the mortar.
Yeah, I don't want to. I just kind of want to leave it like it is. I don't even like sealing the brick because I think it messes with the way it ages as well. So I really just kind of want to leave it like it is.
Right.
Honestly.
James, if you'll go down a little bit, there was a rendering of how it would look. I didn't see any of that original brick looking like that, wherever it was.
Talking about that SketchUp model, but yes, all the way at the end. Yeah, right there. Well, if you look, actually, I used the pictures of the original facade in my SketchUp model to make sure.
I see it now.
Yeah.
I see it now. Okay, what I was looking at was the lower right.
Yeah, it's just the perspective on that. I'm trying to. That's the other thing is, that corrugated metal. They're allowing me to remove that corrugated metal on the inside, so I can expose those original, open brushes.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else want to speak in favor of this? Does anyone want to speak against this? All right, commissioners?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Commissioner White. Do we know what year this building was built? Did I miss that?
I've not been able to pin it down. They say that the 20s is, you know, it's on the list of contributing structures that the DDA has, you know, Jonathan Fricker add to every few years. And
Right.
it just says 1920s is the best they can pin it down. But it's on the Sanborn maps of that area from 35 as having been there for a few years when they did those.
Yeah, it's earlier than that. The only way to really check it is to do the city directory. And remember that all entries are a year after that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, my only issue would be I mean, it sounds like you're following the National Park Service and governmental agencies. My only concern would be that exterior original signage in the brick, integrity of that brick. I mean, it sounds like you're attentive to that.
You are. And on the rear side as well.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled that you're doing it.
Well, I am too. I just wasn't going to be a Bulian.
Hey, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Callaway.
Is Cheryl, are you through questions and stuff?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Okay. Hello, Jeff. Jeff and I spoke before the pandemic to come in to give us a concept. Remember, Jeff did the kitchen incubator in St. Paul's Bottom.
Yeah.
Good job on that. He's doing the Andrews Ford on Crockett Street there, and good architecture. I knew with the garage here, I was fascinated how he was going to do this to keep the front and so forth. And Jeff, you have astounded me with what you're doing here. This is outstanding.
Right.
Outstanding. So this is all good. So kudos to you. And I think keeping the little inner, the old office there that sticks out, and you're not crowding the facade, you back away from it with the style. I think this is very creative, Jeff. So good. I like it. That's all I got, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, anything else? All right, I would entertain a motion to accept this or to reject it. I would say a motion to accept as stated, particularly with keeping the historic signage and brick as is. So do I have a motion?
Yep.
Commissioner Conley, Chair, I move that we accept the proposal as stated.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Conley. Do I have a second?
Yep. Second, Lane Callaway.
Okay. All in favor, aye, with your name. Joyner, aye.
White, aye.
White, Wayne, aye. Wayne,
Yeah.
aye.
And Callaway left eye. Yeah, got it.
All right. Sounds like we have a plan. Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate this. This is wonderful for the city.
It's good. This is
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for your time.
You bet. Okay, item number 3, HPC advising. We need an update on St. Rest Baptist Church and the Allendale neighborhood application for Louisiana Historical Marker.
Yeah. That Billy and I have been helping the church St. West, and the application went in on time to Baton Rouge. It was due on the 13th of May. We have not heard anything back saying that anything is wrong with it. From there, it goes to the LSU main campus history. So we should have it covered. And then in August is the committee to say yay or nay. And right now, I think it's all gonna be good. So far, so good on this, on St. West Baptist Church for the Louisiana Historical Marker.
Excellent. Excellent. This has been a long time coming, and I think everybody that's worked on it appreciates that it's a good thing and it needs to be done. Again, it's going to be part of the civil rights trail that we are working
Yes.
on. It's another
That's
another
true.
anchor. Item number 4, public comments. Do we have any comments from the public?
Dr. Joyner, before you move
Yes.
to the public comments, I would presume that the best place for this is HPC advising. I know Lane had emailed me in regards to requesting information on the biscuit roof.
You need a biscuit?
You need a biscuit, as well as the historic A Trust Bridge project.
Yes.
Liz Swain, Executive Director of DDA, was not able to make this meeting. She says that whenever when the meetings presume, whether they be live or virtual, that she can give a presentation on both. She did write some comments that I can read, or y'all can just say, hey, we'll just hear from her at another time. I didn't know if you wanted an update on them or not.
Well, if no action's to be taken until next month, I would say let's just wait till next month.
Right.
Hey, Adam?
Yes.
Who owns the building?
Let me.
It's not the city, right? It's the Brown guys, Brown brothers?
You read the, current owners is Edward Taylor and Wayne Brown.
Yeah.
Brown Builders.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have
Okay.
experience in historic rehabs. And they're previously completing a similar project on Julia Street in New Orleans.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's Taylor and Brown. That's what I thought. Okay. So next time we should have something.
Well, she's ready to present. It was just she had a conflict today. But in the email that I sent to her saying that y'all were interested in an update on it, that whenever that there's a meeting, but right now for that project, they haven't done anything to the exterior yet, so they wouldn't even need a COA currently.
But mostly to get a concept so that when they do a COA, we're prepared for it and we know what they're trying to do.
Right, and then her response is they have been green lighted by SHPO and the National Parks Service for federal historic tax credit.
Well, that's great. I'm glad they've done that, but still they need to do a COA through HPC.
Right.
It is a historic building.
It's not till August of 21, so I'm sure that whenever that scope of work becomes needed, they'll definitely apply for that.
Yeah, and also to borrow a theme from the chair and Dr. White about talking about historic signage on the you need a biscuit sign on the side. So okay, good. I appreciate the update.
Signage.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That signage goes back to the 1920s, 1930s. The original name of that building was the Borden-Bauman Building. We have great photographs of it in 1904.
Yep.
It has the oldest elevator in Shreveport that's large enough to hold a full Conestoga wagon plus the tongue. I've been up in that all the way to the 6th floor. I bought my first furniture in Shreveport from Mr. Marcus, who was there. But it's a very important building. We want to make sure from a historic standpoint that it is in good shape. It will be taken care of. It will be, honored. So
good. This is good. Thanks, Adam, for the update.
Yep. Thanks, Adam. Any other comments? I have one last one for Adam, and then we'll adjourn. On all of the 5G poles that I've looked at, they're all archaeologically clean, no problems at all.
Okay.
So we will.
Yeah, Adam, did I send the email for the May?
You did.
For the okay, all right.
Also, I received a letter back from regarding our CLG. It was approved. And they said that James did a great job in putting that application together.
Hey, James.
So as always, it's for 3 years, and y'all are more than welcome to go after grants and the like on anything that it opens up. But
Okay.
Yep, all good. That's, we need to
Great.
strategize about that. Very good. Ensure James gets a pay raise.
We want to go back to, I'm sure James wouldn't mind.
I'm fine with that.
I thought you might. Do we want to go back to the third week of next month or continue at the fourth week, depending on COVID?
Can we go back to the third week? You know, we actually moved another Historic Preservation Society meeting so that you and I would be able to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gary, if I could, the reason why we went to the fourth week for this month, it was just as things were opening up and so forth, and then we could do it. We didn't have time to prepare for it. So that's why it was just, this is the aberration. So yeah, the third week, the third Tuesday. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to go back.
Fine with me.
Yep.
Current proclamation, I believe, expires on June 15th. So update and FYI for that.
But did we finally get the mayor proclamation?
I understood that we did.
Yeah, because I wrote Africa and never got an answer back.
Well, we'll have to ask.
Yeah.
All right. We'll right now we'll assume that the next meeting will be the third Tuesday of June. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
You have a motion to adjourn from Commissioner White.
Thank you, Dr. White. Second?
Second, Commissioner Wayne.
Notice that everybody wants to second. And so all in favor? Aye.
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 Let us adjourn. And
hopefully
thank
next time.
you very much, Adam, and thank you very much, James, both of you.
Yeah.
And Miriam. And Miriam.
Yeah. Hopefully next time Billy won't use his flip phone.
Hey, that wasn't my fault, man. It's the area I'm located in.
Yeah, okay. Whatever you say.
It is, man.